These challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
We support INEC and indeed support all the processes.
Senate restates support for INEC for a credible 2023 election.
Unfortunately, we were not able to get the information that we are looking for.
And Senate committee defers submission of report of investigation into Ways and Means request due to the absence of key stakeholders. Welcome to Inside the Senate. I am your regular anchor, Hussaina Amina Aboki. The Senate, according to plan, resumed on Tuesday, the 17th of January 2023 from the break it took on the 28th of December 2022. Senate President Ahmad Lawan delivered a welcome address in which, amongst other things, he promised legislative support for a successful 2023 general elections. Several bills also scaled second reading, while others originating from the House of Representatives were presented for concurrence. Reports on these and other matters form our package this week. Stay tuned for details after the break. Don't go away.
The Senate will send a message to the President
to reap opportunities from that.
Raise a matter of urgent public importance. And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up
For a longer term development,
arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. With the 2023 general elections drawing closer and preparations for it in top gear, Senate President Ahmad Lawan has charged his colleagues to join in the efforts being made to redefine the future of Nigeria through the upcoming 2023 general elections. He gave the charge in a welcome address to his colleagues on resumption to plenary after the New Year break on Tuesday, the 17th of January 2023. In the address, Senator Ahmad Lawan reminded Nigerians that the presidential and National Assembly elections would hold on the 25th of February 2023, while gubernatorial and state assembly elections would hold on the 11th of March 2023. He then called on Nigerians to take advantage of the new Electoral Act to come out en masse and exercise their franchise.
This is an opportunity to vote for whoever you want to vote for. Of course, we believe that citizens have done the right thing to do to obtain their PVCs. Because without your PVC, you cannot vote. The National Assembly last year did tremendous job to amend the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act as constituted today will provide better outcomes of elections, and this was done purposely to ensure that we did our job as members of the National Assembly of this Parliament for the sake of our country.
He also expressed the commitment of the members of the nation's legislatures to support INEC to ensure that the outcome of the election is free and fair.
We in the Senate and indeed the National Assembly, we have often said that we support INEC and indeed support all the processes to ensure that there is peace, there is stability, that when the elections are held, that the outcomes will have the integrity that is required for the election outcomes to be accepted nationally and internationally.
While appreciating the threat of insecurity to the elections, Senator Ahmad Lawan, who noted that INEC has got all it needs for the successful conduct, also disclosed that the nation's security forces have been properly capacitated to guarantee the protections of lives and property during the exercise.
Our security agencies have assured everyone in this country that they will ensure that the environment is secured and safe for citizens to go out and vote without any let or hindrance.
Still on the challenge of insecurity to the nation as a whole, he gave assurance that efforts would be put in place to end it by the end of this administration.
We hope to leave a better security situation by the time our tenure ends on the 11th of June this year, by the grace of God. We will therefore continue to support the armed forces and other security agencies to ensure that they have what they need to fight against the various insecurity situations across the country.
Another challenge not left out in the Senate President's welcome address was revenue deficit, which he said is militating against the optimal performance of government. He blamed this on poor performance and ineptitude of some of the nation's revenue-generating agencies.
Some of these agencies either don't do the work of collecting and remitting the revenues as they should, or they collect and misuse and misapply the revenues. Our committees on finance and other finance-related committees must be on top of their game to ensure that we get these agencies of government to remit the revenues that they collect.
At the end of his address, Senator Ahmad Lawan emphasized the commitment of the 9th Senate to working for Nigerians as promised during its inauguration in 2019. With that speech, the Senate moved on to address other matters before it. For details of plenary proceedings, let's take this report as compiled and presented from our studio.
It will be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari, in a letter on Wednesday, the 21st of December 2022, saw Senate's approval of the sum of 22.719 trillion naira and another 1 trillion naira, totaling 23.719 trillion naira from the CBN as ways and means advances, a funding option by the CBN to the federal government to cater for short-term or emergency finance to fund delayed government expected cash receipt of fiscal deficit. Due to the sketchy information about what it entails, the Senate on Wednesday, the 28th of December 2022, constituted a special committee headed by the Senate leader with membership from the Committees of Finance, Appropriation, Local and Foreign Debt, as well as banking, insurance, and other financial institutions. According to the chairman, it was mandated to investigate the request through interactions with the concerned stakeholders, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and as well as the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), and report back as soon as possible.
Unfortunately, in the process, after asking a lot of questions, because we sent about 6 questions to the Minister of Finance and about 5 to the CBN governor, but unfortunately, we were not able to get the information that we are looking for. Why? Because the 2 of them were out of town. And therefore, it's going to be difficult for our committee to set up. It was difficult for our committee to come up with the report.
The Senate President had this word of advice to the executive arm of government.
The National Assembly or the Senate is prepared to consider the request, but we must have the necessary information. But this is not supposed to be a difficult thing to do. All that we are asking for, send the documents authorizing either the approval that was gotten and the document authorizing the disbursements.
Consequently, it was resolved to give the committee more days to complete its assignment and report to the Senate as soon as possible. Earlier on that day, the Senate President read a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking Senate's nod for the reappointment of the following personalities as members of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission (ICPC). There are retired Justice Adamu Bello, Kano State; Anatu Muhammad, Jigawa State; Olubukola Balogun, Lagos State; Barrister Obioma Samuel Igwe Dibia, Anambra State; Dr. Abdullahi Mekano, Niger State; Dauda Yahaya Umar, Nasarawa State; Grace Nkechinyere, Delta State. The nominees will be referred to the relevant committees for more legislative action.
Bill for an act to establish the Vigilante Group of Nigeria (VGN).
Meanwhile, several bills were also presented for first reading last week. They include Federal University of Health Sciences Ila-Orogun, Osun State Establishment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Gobir; Nigerian Medical Research Council Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Yahaya Oluregbe. Federal University of Tropical Medicine, Irua, Edo State Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Clifford Odia. Biometric Data Security and Protection Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Gershom Bassi, as well as Nigerian Railway Security Service Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Nicholas Dufoomo. In the same vein, several bills originating from the House of Representatives were presented from concurrence. They include Vigilante Group of Nigeria VGN Establishment Bill 2023 to provide for community policing, maintenance of law and order, as well as community services to Nigerians. Nigerian Institute of Leather and Science Technology Bill 2023 to provide for the global competition and environmentally friendly technology for leather products and allied industries. Federal Government of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, ECAMIDIM, Akwa Ibom State Establishment Bill 2023 to provide for courses leading to the award of diplomas and certificates in medical laboratory technology and related courses. National Child Protection and Enforcement Agency Establishment Bill 2023, as well as Federal College of Agriculture, ABI, Cross River State Establishment Bill 2023 to provide for full-time courses leading to the award of diplomas and higher national diplomas in agriculture and allied fields, and to be responsible for the due administration of the college. The Senate leader sought accelerated consideration of the bills.
These are straightforward and not controversial, and have gone through the necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of these bills as we refer them to the Committee of the Whole.
As a result, they were read a second time, referred to the Committee of the Whole, where they were considered clause by clause, leading to their third reading and passage.
And clause 5, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay, the ayes have it.
Similarly, the Federal Medical Center Onitsha Anambra State Establishment Bill 2022, passed by the Senate and House of Representatives and presented to the Executive for assent, was recommitted to the Senate on Tuesday, the 17th of January 2022. State leader Senator Ibrahim Godul gave reasons for the recommittal.
Some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly emerged after a critical analysis of the bill by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief.
With no debate taken, the Senate dissolved into the Committee of the Whole and reconsidered the bill clause by clause, following which the Senate President reported progress.
The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Federal Medical Center Onitsha Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 3 as clause 1 to 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you.
The bill was read third time, passed, and would be recommitted to the Executive once again for assent.
Let's take a break here to open our notebook segments. More reports from the chamber when we return. But for now, stand by for our topic of the week.
The rules guiding membership of Senate committees provide that each special and standing committee shall comprise of not less than 5 members and more than 10 members, including the chairman and vice chairman. The rules also provide that no senator shall serve as a member of more than 3 committees, while committee chairmen shall not serve as members of more than 2 other committees. The rules, however, do not cover the selection committee, of which none of its members is allowed to be a committee chairman, but can serve as members of other committees as provided for by the rules.
You are watching Inside the Senate, a legislative program highlighting activities of senators in the Red Wing of the National Assembly. Wednesday, the 18th of January 2023, saw the Senate considering the National Research Institute for Chemical Technology Establishment Bill 2023 for second reading. Let's take a report on this bill alongside others. Keep watching.
Also to establish a national laboratory.
Sponsor of the bill, Senator Sadiq Suleiman Umar, gave some of the objectives of the bill as being to provide globally competitive and environmentally friendly innovation, and research and development into the processing and conversion of indigenous raw materials into valuable chemical and petrochemical products. In his lead debate, the sponsor gave more clarification on the mandates of the institute when established.
The objectives of the bill of the institute, when established, shall be, among other things, to undertake research and development work on processes for the conversion of agricultural, mineral, and other raw materials into useful chemicals, processing of commercial grade chemicals to laboratory grades, the derivation of secondary chemicals from petrochemicals, coal, solid minerals, and other minerals, the production of functional polymers and engineering plastics, characterization and utilization, and processing of natural and man-made fibers.
However, some senators argued that there exists in Zaria, Kaduna State, an institution performing the same function as the one the bill is seeking to establish.
I don't know whether the sponsor of this bill is aware that the National Research Institute for Chemical Technology exists in Zaria. And I thought what could be done is to amend the act of that institute to accommodate whatever is not done there.
Just to buttress what the Deputy Senate Leader said, this institution has been there, I think, for the past 30 to 40 years or so. You know, unless he's going to establish another institute apart from that. But that institute exists, maybe it will be more propitious for us to look into what is there in this existing institute and see whether some of the issues that he's raising can be accommodated within the existing institute.
I think this component of the bill are functions that are already being handled by other established bodies, and I don't think there will be need to review the mandate of the institute.
Even then, some others were in support of the passage of the bill and drew attention to the fact that the Zaria Institute is not backed by a legal framework.
Don't forget that he is seeking for a globally competitive, so it transcends Nigeria. And when you are dealing with other people outside the territories of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they will be interested. In fact, whatever you are going to do, their first question is, where is the law establishing this? Because that is what is going to give them the legal basis to take whatever action or to enter into whatever agreement that they deem necessary. So I think the bill is properly couched and is in order, and it should be allowed to pass second reading, and then the committee should do some work to ensure that the Zaria one that does not have legal framework is not incorporated.
There is no better time that this bill should be considered than now, because if we look at our earnings, even some of the raw materials which we have them here, which we can research on them and make them processed here, are being imported. So if we can streamline it and have a legislation that will look into all issues concerning chemicals, the technology in Nigeria, I think it will be very helpful, especially now that like the Dangote refinery coming up, there are so many byproducts that will support some of these researches instead of waiting to import chemicals or import anything from abroad in order to add value to our processes.
With this, the bill scaled second reading and referred to the Committee on Science and Technology to report back in 4 weeks.
The gap between primary, secondary...
Another bill presented for second reading same Wednesday was the Federal Medical Center Uli Anambra State Establishment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Ifeanyi Uba.
When established, the center will perform following functions: to equip, maintain and operate the center so as to provide facilities for diagnosis, preventive, curative and rehabilitative services in medical treatment, to support and provide enabling environment for medical training of personnel as the board may consider necessary. to run an effective and cost-effective medical services to Nigerians.
The bill was debated.
I think more than any time in our history, Mr. President, we must be looking at how we can develop the medical science in Nigeria and making it affordable for every one of us.
I believe that this particular bill would not just add values to the needs of this particular senatorial district, it will also uplift the health condition globally. Health is paramount. As we always say, health is wealth. So I believe that this is a very timely and urgent need that we should promote in order to help our constituents all over.
Accordingly, the bill scaled second reading and referred to the Senate Committee on Health to report back in 4 weeks.
Those were reports of Senate proceedings when it resumed from the Christmas and New Year break. We will close the program as usual with our profile segment. Stay tuned for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l represents Kebbi South Senatorial District under APC. Born on the 2nd of June 1967, he attended Sam Gomo Primary School for his first school leaving certificate and Government Secondary School Zuru, Kebbi State for his West African School certificate. For tertiary education, Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l attended Sokoto State College of Arts and Science before proceeding to Ahmadu Bello University Zaria in 1982 for a degree in law. He also attended the Nigerian Law School in Lagos and was called to the bar in 1986. For his national service, Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l served as a legal advisor to the Nigerian Army Cantonment Obinze, Imo State. From there, he joined the then Sokoto State Civil Service comprising Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi states and served as senior magistrate as well as chief magistrate before retiring into private practice as a lawyer. In addition to being a high-profile jurist, Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l is also a qualified pilot, having been trained in flying at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, the Cape Flying Institute in South Africa, alongside other flying institutions across the world. On the political turf, Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l joined politics in 2003, contested and won election to the House of Representatives to represent Zuru Federal Constituency of Kebbi State, serving 2 terms from 2003 to 2007 and 2007 to 2011. He also contested to the Senate in the 2015 general elections to represent Kebbi South Senatorial District from 2015 to 2019 and from 2019 till date. Senator Bala Ibn Nat'l is the Chairman Senate Committee on Air Force and Vice Chairman Senate Committee on Aviation, alongside being a member of several other committees. His legislative interests include development of the aviation industry, education, as well as agriculture, among other things.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Inside the Senate. Do keep up with the program on our social media handles and on the NTA Parliamentary channel. Thanks for watching.